Hello and welcome to Learning Final Cut Pro version 10.3 with me, Adam Loretz from the Filmmakers Workshop. In this video we're going to look at three aspects in the edit process: shooting to edit, dialogue editing and B-roll, and auditions, retiming and time lapses. So to kick off, here are my top 10 tips to make your life easier in the edit by shooting better interviews. 1. Use a tripod and locate your interview in a quiet area, away from canteens, roads and air conditioning units. 2. Use a personal mic, also known as a lavalier mic. 3. Record 30 seconds of room or ambient tone. 4. White balance the camera. 5. Turn off auto gain control and monitor the audio via headphones. 6. Use manual focus. 7. Use lights to separate your interviewee in three-dimensional space. Remember to get a little light in the subject's eyes. 8. Shoot the interview before the B-roll. The interviewee may mention something you need to shoot. 9. If asking questions, get the interviewee to answer in full sentences so the question is in the answer. 10. In many cases where the interviewee is answering questions, the camera is a third party, so in these cases ensure the speaker doesn't look into the lens immediately after the take. In the example video, we have a more vox pop style where interviewees are talking directly to camera. This style works best for informal or less complex subjects. There are many ways to perform edits in Final Cut Pro 10, and different types of film such as music video, customer feedback films, product and business overviews and vox pops all have their own conventions. In this video, I'm just going to give you some insight into the way I edit all of my corporate films. This particular edit is of a community event called Mountain Bike Meetup. The film consists of pieces to camera to tell the story and different types of B-roll to illustrate this, including time lapses. In the next video in the series, we'll look at adding logos, graphics, music and effects to complete the film. See my previous videos for info on orientation and organisation of your clips within Final Cut Pro and importing footage. Getting the footage into the timeline can be done a number of ways. My favourite is to drag and drop clips, favourites or multicam clips directly to where I want them in the timeline. Alternatively, you can connect, insert or append clips to your timeline with Q, W or E. Snapping can be useful. It's a feature where Final Cut Pro snaps the playhead or clip to the nearest cut point. Press N to toggle this on or off as to your liking. Mostly it's helpful. So that's all good. Get the clips in and move them about. With the magnetic timeline feature, it's easy to switch single or multiple clips around to try out different running orders. Everything just snaps into place. If you have multiple clips that you'd prefer to move as a group, then select them all and create a compound clip. This is especially useful if you're making an opening or closing title sequence that you'll need to reuse. Let's get back to editing. As many corporate edits run about 3 minutes or so, you might be wondering what to cut. First off, cut the dialogue. If you're working for yourself and making the decisions, and are not working for a client, begin cutting in the timeline, building your story. For everyone else, working for a marketing company, make a project for each speaker and string out the interview clips and add timecode so they can review the footage and use their expertise to tell you what to include. The most obvious cuts are the ums and ahs, which I tend to deal with by pressing the R or range key to select the portion of the clip with the or R in, and then just hit the delete key. The range key is also useful to debreath audio. This is where you can hear your subject or interviewee inhaling prior to a take. Just select that range and then duck the audio to -25 dB or so, and add ambient audio if necessary. Next, I mostly listen out for repetition, where the speaker says the same thing but in a different way. This happens a fair bit, and they tend to get it most succinct in their last phrasing. In terms of actually performing the edit, you should acquaint yourself with the toolset, and after a while you'll be all ATBRPZH. Well, if you're moving over from Adobe Evangelism, you probably will. FCPX rocks! Using the Select tool, you can reposition clips to get your interviewee's sentences in order, and contextually, this tool will help you shorten or lengthen these clips. If you have the right length clip, but need a few seconds from the head or tail of that clip, then use the Trim or T tool to slide the content into the desired position. Orientating yourself with the timeline is crucial, and there's a few ways to do this. My favourite is to use Command and plus or minus to zoom in and out, or use Shift-Z to see the entire timeline. As you progress in your edit, you may need to turn clips on or off. To do this, select them and press V to toggle them on or off. The clips will turn dark when they're off. If you have alternate answers you want to try out, then you can drag and drop the alternate takes onto the desired selected clip and choose Add to Audition. Double-clicking the clip on the audition icon will let you choose between the takes. The key objective during the edit process is typically to tell the story in the most succinct and clearest way. So best not to add titles or graphics or get sidetracked by color correcting at this point. Just stay focused. One great way to stay focused on your edit in Final Cut 10.3 is to toggle the workspaces, and you can do this by pressing the buttons up in the top right hand corner, which allow you to switch off the browser, the timeline and the inspector so you can focus on the job in hand. When you have your edit cut to your desired duration, it's time for stage 2 and ice that cake with some B-roll. Exposition is what sets up a place or idea to your audience, and it's a good idea to get a few shots which illustrate where the event is taking place. Here we have some establishing shots of the location, the event taking place, a map of the location and a time-lapse of the journey to the event. Sometimes clients will have existing assets, sometimes video, but often with my techie clients it tends to be animations, which are always useful to illustrate complex subjects. Always ask your clients to email or WeTransfer their corporate style sheet, logo, fonts, video animations and specific URLs to you to include in the video prior to the edit process. The goal here is to both illustrate what the speaker is saying and also cover the dialogue edits. Again, if you are a shooter, you should try and get some shots which you can manipulate, like time lapses, slow motion, or static shots which you can fit to fill gaps of differing lengths, both in a practical sense to cover the edits, but also stylistically to add interest to your film. Retiming shots is easy. Select the clip and retiming tool, and most often you'll just need to drag the end of the clip to stretch it. There are a host of retiming features, and we'll come back to them in more detail in a later episode. To create a time-lapse in Final Cut Pro is straightforward. Just select a sequentially numbered group of images from an event, and then create a compound clip with them by pressing Alt-G. Press Command-A to select all the images in the timeline. Now press Ctrl-D to change their duration. And press 1 in the window here to make each image's duration last 1 frame. In the UK, videos play back at 25 frames per second. So, for a 4-second time-lapse, you will need 100 images. And there we have it, a basic edit cut together. In the next episode, we'll look at completing this edit with colour correction, transitions, graphics, music and effects. Until next time, be sure to subscribe and share this video and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Adam Loretz from the Filmmakers Workshop. Thanks for watching.